Seetec was founded in 1984, 6 members of staff. We've grown, we've got around about 2,000 staff today, operating from approximately 200 locations. We operate in a number of different sectors, so we get the long-term unemployed back to work. We also help people leaving prison or on a probationary order. And that's really about reskilling them or getting them back into work as well. And also we provide education and skills and apprenticeships.
I've been at Seetec for about 7 years. I found here that it seems a bit of a cliche, but the business does invest in the people that work here. So, you know, there were development opportunities to progress your own career. There always seemed to be an opportunity for you to get involved in something outside of your job role. We used to have an employee forum, and there were working groups for certain initiatives and things like that. So you could get involved in a lot of other stuff. And it just seemed like that when we went for employee ownership, it was just like the next step in that, except now it's even more led by employees.
Back at the end of 2019, the founder of the organisation was looking at options for the future and what he might do in terms of his succession. And really for Seetec, in terms of maintaining our values, employee ownership seemed to be the most appropriate solution for him and fitted really well with Seetec. We kind of say here that it was an evolution of who we are rather than a revolution, and that really seems to fit quite well. So Peter sold his shares to the employees, and we are 51% employee owned, and those shares are held in a trust on behalf of our colleagues.
I think it's the sense of ownership. You know, you feel you have a stake, and when you feel you have a stake, you're going to put your all into it. That is the difference to me. You're not just working for somebody. The work is yours. You know, the business is yours, and any contribution you're making is a benefit to you. And I think that ownership makes the difference.
So in terms of how it has benefited employee well-being, I think the pandemic brought that into sharp focus. We had to think very carefully about employee well-being over the last 18 months. But most definitely, the opportunity for our people to be directly involved in initiatives to support well-being was critical. Our employee ownership champions are a peer-to-peer network, and they were listening to colleagues about what the acute needs were and how they needed to be met. So by bringing that group of people together as a health and well-being working group, we were able then to really understand what it was that people needed and where that support was needed. And some of those things we would have maybe got to eventually as a leadership team, but never as quickly as it was with having the employee ownership champions involved. And I think particularly about, you know, we provided laptops for colleagues to use if they were doing homeschooling with children. We had a parents' online support group where people could talk to each other and seek out subject matter experts across the business if they were struggling with some of that learning. We had physical challenges like Strava groups, photography challenges. It kept a community of people networked and close to each other even though we were physically apart. And that was important because Seetec is spread across the UK and Ireland. And that geographical spread meant that there weren't often hubs for people to come together and talk. So the online experience through what our champions were listening to and how they were responding was really important.
I feel like for colleagues it was really exciting for them because it's something that Seetec never had before, and we really did adapt our ways of working more remotely. We wanted to make sure that our colleagues were getting away from their desks and not just sitting at home all day, and having the different walk-in events and how many steps they could do every day. It made it quite a competitive challenge between our colleagues and also engaged a bit of cross-pillar working as well, as you're speaking to people that you probably wouldn't speak to if you was in the office because they live across the other side of the country.
So for us, the outcomes are measurable by the staff feedback that we've got, which is the most important thing. And colleagues have told us that they have felt that we've gone that extra mile for them during a really difficult time. And that's in massive part to the role that the employee champions played for us by feeding back that information to senior leaders so that we could make the changes and offer new services to staff at a time of most need.